The NBA draft is right around the corner. It's right around the corner. Right around the corner. So it's time. It's time, y'all. It's time to make your selection. It's time to go ahead and make your pick. It's time. You ain't got no choice. You ain't have no choice. And you got to get it right. Not to put too much pressure on you, but you have no choice. You got to get this right. You got to get it right. What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic. And today we're going to talk some basketball. Orlando Magic basketball. You already know what it is. Like I just said, the NBA draft is right around the corner. It's a week away, y'all. A week away. Damn, that draft came fast. Come think about it. That draft really came fast. Like I said, we a week away. And it's time. The Orlando Magic got the number one overall draft pick. Where they gonna go? They gonna go Jabari. They gonna go Paolo. They gonna go. What they gonna do with this number? What are they gonna do with this number one pick? It's time. It's time to make a decision. So we're gonna talk about. We're gonna break it down. Hey, before we get in there, like I've been telling y'all before, if you liking the content, make sure you liking the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you sharing this channel on all social media platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, any type of social media platform you use. Make sure you share this video and share the channels on all those social media as well. Also, follow me on social media. The links in the description below. We giving away 30 days free at Amazon Prime. Who don't like free stuff? Who don't like free stuff? I like free stuff. So if you don't got Amazon Prime, the link is in the description. You sign up. You get 30 days free at Amazon Prime. If you already don't have it, hit that link in the description below. Get your 30 days free. Also follow me on all my social media. The links in the description below. Like I say, like the channel, subscribe to the channel, share the channel, comment on all the videos. Do all that stuff. Go ahead and do that. Let's get this done. Now let's talk about it because like I say, the NBA draft is a week away. The Orlando Magic have the number one overall pick. What are they going to do? Who are they leaning towards? We know we've seen the odds, Vegas odds saying they leaning towards Jabari, and you hearing all that, and you see a lot of people up here, especially lately, as of today, been a lot of buzz and a lot of noise coming out about Paolo. And I know a lot of people like, why you don't never say nothing about Chet? You always talk about Jabari, you always talk about Paolo, you don't never say nothing about Chet. The reason why I don't say nothing about Chet, one, don't want Chet. I'm gonna be put it to you like that. Just say I don't want to draft Chet. Don't want Chet. Yeah, I think he's too skinny. I don't want to draft Chet. Me and Chet weigh the same. I weigh more than Chet. I weigh more than I'm way shorter than Chet, and I weigh more than Chet. Like he only weigh 110 pounds. Like well, I think it's 195, but still, no. Oh, he can put on weight. He can put on weight. I don't buy that. I really don't. And also, the reports today, if you believe the reports today, is one. He was withholding information or was withholding medical history or whatever it is to certain teams. He only wants to show certain teams. He ain't trying to show other teams. And then another report came out again today that his agent says the preferred destination is OKC. So basically trying to strong arm their way to get to OKC. Which actually, by the way, I think is probably actually the best fit for him anyway. I really do. I actually think Oklahoma really is the best. Like just to take all that, I think Oklahoma City is the best fit for him, and that might be the reason why he is trying to strong arm his way there because it is the best fit. So I'm cool with that. Let him go to OKC and let it be versus Jabari or Paolo and see what happens. See will the Magic lean towards that way, but let him go to OKC. That's the reason why I've been talking about him because I also believe that the Magic were never really in the market to draft Chet. I think there's a lot of noise from the national media because, oh, him and Suggs played high school together and they're trying to just draw their line. I never really thought that he was a Magic. I just really didn't. I just never, when I watched, and I really just decided, I'm like, no, I really don't. I look at Jabari and I look at Paolo and I'm like, they look more like they what the Magic need because they both are. They both are players who the Orlando Magic need. Like I say, the Vegas odds have the Magic taking Jabari. But then it's been a lot of noise of today that it seems like the Magic are leaning a little bit towards Paolo. They some leaks come out that they may have a plan, possibly maybe if they move back or move around, especially with the whole Chet information that they could potentially be trading back and trading the 2 and then take Paolo at 2 and also pick up the 12th pick from OKC. Just a whole bunch of information. So who's better fitting the Orlando Magic? Is it Chet? Is it Jabari? Or is it Paolo? Who's better fitting it? Like I said, I don't think Chet fits. When you look at Jabari, Jabari is a three-point shooter. Jabari has a nice shot, an unblockable shot. It rainbows. He has an unblockable shot. Can play defense. Can defend all 5 positions. And like I say, 6'10", 220 pounds. Shot 42% from 3. Like I said, plays defense and is a shooter, can shoot the lights out. But his weakness is, and the question mark is, can he really pull up the handle? Can he do? Can he really? Can he advance that handle? Can he tighten that handle up, or is he going to end up just being a 3-and-D guy? And then when you look at Paolo's an all 3-level scorer. Paolo can score. He can take it to the rack. He can he can take it to the rack. He has a mid range. He has a nice mid range. I actually think his mid range is better than Jabari. Even though Jabari is a better shooter, Paolo has a better mid range. I know in the last video I call him Pablo. I know his name Paolo. Don't. We already know what it is. But a lot of people in the comment section was tripping about that. But hey, move on. So, like I said, he can pull up. He can pull up from there. He has a nice handle. He can make plays. He can set plays up for other people. He's not just a guy who's a catch and shoot. He can set up plays for other people. But his 3-point shooting is not terrible. It needs to be worked on. Let's be honest. It needs to be worked on. It's not terrible. He can shoot the 3. It's just not consistent. And he will have to shoot volume 3s. It's not like it's just always going to go. It's not as automatic. He's not as a pure shooter as Jabari. But his biggest thing that people talk about is his defense. Because, I mean, it's not that he can't play defense. Because, like I said, the guy's 6'10", and the report came out that he's actually 6'10 and a half without shoes. So you put on some shoes, he's 6'11", almost 7 foot, if not 7 foot, depending on the type of shoes he's wearing. And he's 250 pounds. So he's a big guy. He has an NBA body. He's a big guy. It's more so a lack of effort. And when I look at him playing defense and look at how he was the primary scorer for Duke, a team that went all the way to the Final Four and lost against North Carolina in the Final Four, when you watch him, like, you know what? It's not that he can't play defense. Like I said, it's the lack of effort. And maybe it's because he was given so much on the offensive end, he was basically taking his breaks defensively. Now, again, that's not a good trait to have. I understand that. But I think once he gets up to the NBA level, I think his defense will tighten up. Don't think he'll ever be like an all-world defender, but I think his defense will tighten up enough that he won't be a liability on the court. And again, if he's a guy that's putting up 25 to 30 points, me personally, I ain't tripping. I ain't tripping that he take off a little bit off on the defensive end. If he's able to put up that type, if he's able a guy you can give the ball to and score, like I said, we have not had that type of guy since Tracy McGrady, that we give the ball to him like, here, score, take us there, give us some points. We never had a leading scorer like that since Tracy McGrady's left. Since Tracy McGrady left, our leading scorers have been, only one guy has scored over 20 points that was not Dwight Howard or Vooch, and that was Steve Francis in 2004-2005 season. His first year here, he averaged 21.1 points a game. Other than that, Dwight averaged 20-plus points a couple times, but his career average in Orlando is hovering around 19, 18 points. And Vooch had a 22 season in had a 20 season, his first All-Star year, and then his last year he had 20. He averaged, I think, 23 or 24, if I'm not mistaken, right before we traded him. Other than that, guys have been averaging 17, 18, 15. Like this past year, Carl Anthony led the team with 16.7 points per game, something like that. So we're struggling on the offensive end. We're struggling needing an actual dominant scorer. Paolo can do that. Paolo can be that. And like I said, that more so than Houston. I know a lot of Rockets fans want him there in Houston. And when you look, they already got Jalen Green. He's a guy coming from Duke, #1 leading scorer at Duke. He goes to Houston, or he goes to Houston, or goes to OKC. He won't be the leading scorer. I think he would be the leading scorer, at least given the opportunity to be the leading scorer, being the #1 overall draft pick if he comes to Orlando. Now the thing is, he only worked, if I'm not mistaken, he hasn't came to Orlando and visited. I think he worked out via Zoom. Don't really know what that's about. I don't know if that's how he did all his meetings, or he's only met with the Magic via Zoom. And maybe that could be a smoke screen in itself. Never know. I can't read too much in that. Now, when you look at Jabari, like I say, his thing is, can he create and that handle? Because he got good defense, so you're not worried about him on the defensive end, and you're not worried about the shot because the guy can shoot. Now, even though I think that Paolo is a better mid-range scorer, than Jabari. But Jabari can shoot the three. He has a mid range. He's decent enough to take it to the hole, but not as good, obviously. And like I said, can he create? Can he create for somebody else? Can he create for himself? Or is he a catch and shoot guy? Could he end up being just like, because worst case, could he end up just being a 3-and-D catch and shoot guy? That's probably Jabari's worst case scenario. But scoring 42 from three when this team here was dead last in 3-point, I think they averaged like 32. I think as a team, they were 32% from three. Dead last in 3-point shooting, second to last in offense. Like I say, they lead scorers, Cole Anthony coming off the bench, averaging a little over 16 points per game. So obviously, you need scoring. We need scoring. That's why it has to be one of these two guys. And that's why I think it was always out of these two guys. Out of Jabari and out of Paolo. It was out of these two guys. Me personally, I've been saying this for the longest. Even before the draft lottery, I wanted Jabari. Because I lean towards that 3-point shooting. I do. I lean towards that shooting because that shot ain't going nowhere. Now, I know we just seen the other night Curry was 0 for 9 from 3-point. It happens. It happens. One night you just cold. That happens. And, I mean, come on now. I mean, 82-game season, 7-game playoff series, you're in the finals. It happens. You don't want it to happen. Obviously, you definitely don't want it to happen in that type of moment. But we already know Curry is the best shooter in NBA history. He's the best shooter of all time. So we already know he going to bounce back. He going to get that. Jabari has an unblockable shot. Being 6'10", having that nice rainbow, you heard people saying that, not comparing him to Kevin Durant, because we've heard this before, especially with Jonathan Isaac, which was an absurd comparison because Jonathan Isaac only averaged, I think, 11 points at Florida State. He was never a scorer. But that's a conversation why Kevin Durant was out there averaging 25 to 30 points at UT. But again, that's a conversation for another day. But when you see the way him being that size and that frame and able to shoot like that, he's shooting and pulling up like a guard. And speaking of Jonathan Isaac, where does he fit into this equation if you draft either Paolo or Jabari? I think we seen that he had, earlier this year on podcast, he said the number one pick should be Paolo. And I think this is before the Magic even had the number one overall pick. But I do think he can actually fit with Pablo game a little bit better than Jabari. Even though I think Jabari opens up the space for everybody because of that 3-point shooting. It opens up for a Wendell Carter. It opens up for Franz Wagner. It helps us help make plays. It helps Fultz help make plays as well. So I think it opens up the offense for a lot of different people in a lot of different ways, especially the way he shoots it. That's why I think he's a better fit. But don't get me wrong, I think Paolo's a good fit too. I know there's a lot of people out there that's Team Pablo. That's cool. That's cool. I think Paolo fits in well as well. I think either way go, both of them fit in. It just like pick what you want. Do you want a guy who's an all around scorer, but that shooting might be a problem in certain situations and has a lack of defense, or a guy who is you can keep him on the court all the time because he can play defense and he has that shot. See, with me, it seems like that Jabari can always be on the court in any type of situation. I don't see a type of situation that Jabari won't be able to be on the court. Even if Jabari is at his floor, he will always be able to be on the court because he can play defense and he can shoot. So you always will need that. Paolo, even though I said that if you score these many points, I'm not tripping about you defensively. But then again, it depends on certain situations. It depends on certain junctures of the game. If his defense is that bad and he's a liability, you're going to have to do a lot of switching. Now, I do think that with somebody like Suggs, Markelle Fultz, Wendell, and then when Isaac comes back, because I think the type of player Isaac is defensively, that's another reason why I think that probably Isaac fits more with Paolo, because I think Jonathan Isaac is a monster defensively, to be honest with you. Fully healthy, I think Jonathan Isaac realistically could be in conversation, be competing for Defensive Player of the Year every single year. So because of that, because of him being that caliber of player, if Paolo is weak on the defensive end, it's cool. because you play him on the side. You move Paolo the small forward, you move Franz Wagner the shooting guard, and then you have to work out what you're gonna do with Jalen Suggs and Markelle Fultz. That might be the situation that you have to work around. But with Jabari opens things up a little bit more offensively. I don't know how well that helps out Jonathan Isaac. It could help out Jonathan Isaac as well, but not saying I'm not opposed to saying it wouldn't help him out. But I do think that Jabari fits more so with the whole Markelle, Jalen Suggs, Wendell Carter, and Franz Wagner, and then you insert him in that starting five more so than if you take one of the guards out and insert Jonathan Isaac. I think Paolo fits that situation a little bit more. So it depends on how you feel about Jonathan Isaac and how you feel you want to direct this team. Because I did a video not too long ago with the guys out there from the Ozone Podcast, Al and Anthony. Shout out to everybody out there at the Ozone Podcast. And we talked about the direction of where this team is building towards. And we already know what Franz has done. We know how Franz looked this rookie year. You want him to build on that. Same thing with Wendell Carter. You just paid Wendell. The way they acted when Markelle Fultz came back off of injury. The way how they called a timeout and stopped the game for Markelle Fultz to play. The way they reacted, the way how they had everybody wearing number 20 jerseys and number 20 shirts in the crowd, so we know how they feel about him. And also, you just drafted Suggs 5th last year overall, and yet he didn't have the best rookie season. But no, Franz Wagner, first team all rookie. So when you look at that, it like I say. We talked about also. We also talked about Jonathan Isaac and Obama could possibly be odd man out in certain situations. But when you look at that and you have the number 1 overall pick and you look at what Jabari has and you look at what Pablo has and who fits your system a little bit more, like I say, I'm gonna lean towards Jabari. I'm gonna lean towards the shooting. I'm gonna lean towards the defending. Even though I say if a guy's averaging 25 points, that defending is I ain't tripping off that. But I think even if his floor is just a high level 3-and-D guy, you in retrospect you'll be like, damn, we spent the number 1 overall pick on just a 3-and-D guy. But I think Jabari could actually be and will be more than just a 3-and-D guy, especially in the Magic's offense. I actually do. I'm not concerned about him. But again, I have no problem taking Paolo. I would be just happy and just excited if they draft Paolo. Like I said, like I did when the Texans drafted Derek Stingley. I said I'm going to get a Derek Stingley jersey if they draft him, or if they drafted Sauce, or if they drafted Kyle Hamilton, I was going to buy a jersey. Same thing with the Orlando Magic. If they draft Jabari or if they draft Paolo, either way, I'm getting the jersey. Now, if they trade down and get Ivy or trade down and get Sharp, I don't know. And same thing with Chet, which I don't think they'll go do. Those guys possibly, yeah. Those guys ain't getting jerseys until they prove something. But Jabari and Paolo, I'm big fans of both of them. That I would get one of their jerseys the moment they drafted. Soon as the jerseys are available, I will get Orlando Magic jersey. But like I said, that's what I'm leaning towards. I'm personally leaning towards Jabari, but I can see exactly why people want to lean towards Apollo. And like I said, we'll see. We a week away. A week away. Probably by the time this video come out, it'll be a little bit less than a week away, a day or two. But we are a week away from the NBA draft, and it's an exciting time. And it's, like I said, you have no time to waste. You have to make a decision. Like, share, subscribe, comment below, get the video. I'll holla.